Welcome to Flash News Now. Here are today's top 12 stories. Ransom note claims Nancy Guthrie died after abduction. The note from the possible kidnappers reportedly stated that they did not mean for her to die and included an apology to the family. Ghalibaf, US and Iran can work together to reopen Strait of Hormuz. Iran's chief negotiator said the strait will never return to the way it was before the war. The running list, major tech layoffs in 2026 where employers cited AI. A running look, in reverse chronological order, at the bigger tech companies that have announced significant layoffs this year with AI as a stated factor. Israeli strike kills Palestinian girl on her way to sit exam. The death of a 17-year-old student on her way to a school exam underscores the immediate human cost of the Gaza conflict and signals a shift in the pattern of Israeli air operations. Historically, Israeli strikes have targeted military and infrastructure sites, with civilian casualties often framed as collateral. In recent weeks, however, the proportion of hits on residential zones and everyday public spaces has risen, suggesting a change in operational doctrine or an attempt to pressure the Gazan population through fear of random strikes. This incident is thus a bellwether for the intensity of the campaign and the likelihood of further indiscriminate targeting, which could provoke international condemnation and potentially trigger legal scrutiny under the principles of distinction and proportionality in armed conflict. World Cup 2026, Mbappé stars as France breeze past Iraq despite weather chaos. France defeated Iraq 3-0 in Philadelphia to mathematically secure their passage to the knockout stages. Kylian Mbappé scored twice and Ousmane Dembélé added a third, but the match was overshadowed by severe thunderstorms that forced a 2-hour and 12-minute delay, evacuation of spectators, and a complete washout of the pitch. Mbappé leads France to win over Iraq in lightning-delayed World Cup game. Kylian Mbappé scores France's first 2 goals, with Ousmane Dembélé adding the other in a 3-0 win against Iraq. Messi becomes the World Cup's all-time top goalscorer. Lionel Messi became the highest goalscorer in World Cup history after scoring his 17th and 18th tournament goals. How women steer youths away from gang violence in northeastern Nigeria. The surge of women-driven peace initiatives in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe arrives at a moment when Nigeria's Boko Haram insurgency has receded but a vacuum of authority has been filled by criminal gangs that recruit disaffected youths with promises of quick cash and status. By repurposing traditional kinship networks, women are reshaping the social calculus that once made gang affiliation appear inevitable, leveraging religious institutions, school parent-teacher associations and microenterprise schemes to offer tangible alternatives to street crime. Their visibility also forces a recalibration of security policy. The federal government, still reliant on military sweeps, now faces pressure to fund community-based interventions and protect female activists from retaliation. OpenAI launches new initiative to help find and patch open-source bugs. OpenAI's new open-source bug hunt initiative signals a pivot in the industry's relationship with the sprawling, often unregulated ecosystem that powers much of today's software stack. By allocating resources to audit, identify, and patch critical vulnerabilities in widely used libraries, OpenAI seeks to reduce the attack surface that attackers frequently exploit to inject malicious code into downstream applications. This matters now because the pace of open-source adoption has surged. Every major cloud provider, AI framework, and microservice architecture relies on a dense web of community packages whose security posture is uneven. Iran War Live. U.S. waives oil sanctions, to release $12 billion in frozen funds. U.S. says the decisions follow Iran's commitment to allow international nuclear inspections. U.S. eases oil sanctions as Iran denies Vance claim on nuclear inspectors. Iran's foreign ministry says it made no new commitments on nuclear inspections after talks in Switzerland. Gaza surfers seek solace from war in the sea. Gaza's surf community was nearly wiped out by Israel's genocidal war. But some surfers continue to chase the waves. That was your Flash News Now bulletin. Subscribe for more.